What's going on, guys? This is your budget gamer here, coming at you with a $500 PC build. Now this build is an APU build, so you don't need a dedicated graphics card for it, and it performs really on par with the consoles. So without further ado, let's just start with the build. So for the APU, I decided to choose the AMD A10 7870K running at 3.9 GHz. This processor is a quad-core processor, which means it will run basically any game you need it to run right now without bottlenecking itself. Depending on your motherboard, it can be overclocked to 4.1 GHz and has a really low TDP of 95 watts, so it's very power efficient. So you don't need a huge power supply for this APU. It also comes with a stock cooler, so you can also save money by not getting a better cooler, but if you want, you can get a better cooler for this build. For the motherboard, I decided to choose the Gigabyte GA F2888XM-D3H, oh my god, Micro ATX FM2 Plus motherboard. So this motherboard itself is a Micro ATX form factor. The memory on this motherboard can support DDR3 RAM at 1333, 1600, 1866 and 2133 speeds. The maximum memory it can support is 64 gigabytes, which is nice. It also has RAID support, and the video, it depends on the CPU, so you should be good on the APU side. And awesome enough, it does have 3.0 headers, which is good for transfer speeds. In terms of the RAM, I decided to choose the G.Skill Ripjaws X Series 8GB, 2x4 GB 6 of RAM. This RAM runs at DDR3 1600 speeds. You don't need anything crazy. Apparently with APUs, if you have more RAM, you actually get better FPS in games, and actually dramatically. So if you want to buy 8 GB now and soon upgrade to 16 GB by buying the same kit of RAM, you can do that and actually see FPS boost in your games. Now for the storage, I decided to choose the Western Digital Cavier Blue 1TB hard drive. This is a 3.5-inch internal hard drive running at 7200 RPM. This hard drive is pretty much this hard drive seems to be the go-to for budget builders. If you want, you can get an SSD first and then potentially upgrade later. Not really that necessary in terms of your build. And at this budget, you can't really fit an SSD, but if you want to, you can go that route. You'll just have to pay more than the $500 budget. So for the case, I decided to choose the NZXT Source 210. You can get this case in either black or white. It's an ATX form factor mid-tower case, so you should be fine with your motherboard. And it doesn't have decent cable management, but in terms of bang for buck, like, it's about the best bang for buck case you can get at that price point, especially in Canada. And for the power supply, I decided to choose the Corsair CX 430 watt 80 plus bronze certified semi-modular ATX power supply. So it's semi-modular, so only the important cables are actually attached to the power supply itself. 80 plus bronze certified would mean that it's pulling, it's very power efficient in terms of what it's pulling from the wall. Now, in terms of benchmarks for this entire computer, it's literally on par with consoles. So for CSGO, you would get around 60 FPS on Ultra. Dota 2 also hovers around 60 FPS for medium settings on this APU. For GTA 5 at 1080p on normal settings, you're getting at 30 FPS. And you can also run Star Wars Battlefront on high settings at, I believe, 30 FPS. So this APU doesn't do that bad. So one big benefit that you're snagging from this build instead of buying a $400, $500 console is that the amount of games that you have on this computer is vastly superior in comparison to the consoles, because you can play consoles from older generations, which you'll have a lot better performance, or you can play modern games at console-like performances, so you aren't missing out on this generation if you get on this build. So anyways, if you like this video, please remember to like, favorite, subscribe, or dislike and criticize it if you didn't like it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is your budget gamer signing out.